mind. Do you have anything to say about SuperSat or anything like that?
Well, I mean, George won't talk about these issues, so I'll talk about the state issues because he gets on, and Jason's right. First thing he does is deflect. He doesn't want to talk about state issues, so he starts talking about local people and local problems. This way, he doesn't have to talk about the big issues.
If you want to discuss local, if you want to talk about Niagara Falls constantly, let's talk. I mean,
Well, that's
look,
what
look what's
I mean-
going on with Lewiston and Lockport, and that's a
Town
good way
Niagara,
to
too.
deflect the amount of corruption going on.
But
in these
again,
areas.
I'll take credit for something. I brought in more guests on this show than a lot of other shows even think about doing. And then the reason I do it is because I want to talk about the issues. I want to actually work towards solving some of these issues. Sometimes it gets a little personal, and sometimes we react to it. I understand. Listen, I've suggested to guests, not to make it personal, but it becomes personal because what happens, it goes back and forth. But what I hope for is that, for instance, when Edwina calls, she's got a book of facts. I'm not going to debate.
These are facts.
No, that's right. No, what I'm saying.
I'm talking about state issues. I'm not talking
that's
about,
fine. You're bringing up, specific facts. To me, that's the most important thing I can
Right.
do for this program. Me going back and forth and challenging. I want the callers to challenge. For instance, we had Tuesday we had Dave Mangello here. Okay. I don't agree with libertarian ways of thinking, but I had him here and we had a good discussion. Sure. He was attacked for not understanding the Constitution, and my feeling was that the person that was doing the attacking didn't understand the reason for the Constitution. But, the point is we do get callers. I always pray that the callers have the facts together, that we can stimulate a discussion. Caller, you're on. Yes.
Hey guys, how are you?
Hello.
Morning.
Yeah, Vince, I just realized, I don't know, about a year ago that I'm a libertarian, so I don't know.
No, that's fine. I mean, we don't have to, listen, we're both Americans. We don't have to agree on everything, but certainly I love discussing those issues.
So, but here's the thing. I'm going to get my ass kissing out of the way. I think you three guys, I'm from Niagara Falls, and I got this hopeless romantic feeling about this place. I always have. And I think you three guys represent and fight for this city really well and always have. So I just want to get that out of the way, and I hope it doesn't come across as too patronizing, but that's sincere.
Thank you.
I don't want to make this, it seems like it already has been the George Maziarz show, but he in contrast, I believe from my heart, sincerely hates Niagara Falls. And I don't know if someone stole his girlfriend from Niagara Falls when he was in NT when he was in high school and he still holds a grudge or something. But if you are paying attention and you don't see that this guy has some kind of vendetta towards the city, you're crazy. And now he represents the city. And I can't believe that more people aren't paying attention and pointing that stuff out. And if he comes on your show next time, Vince, and tries to talk about all he's done for this area and the things he's done for Niagara Falls, even when he wasn't representing Niagara Falls, and he better not mention the airport, because who gives a crap, to be quite frank. He's done nothing. And if the county takes a real good look, he really hasn't produced. There's no gain for the risk that we put out there about keeping him in office. In my opinion, it doesn't match up. But I actually have a questions for the two legislators, and specifically because you guys represent the city. Anytime I call the show, it's always about the casino cash and the casino issue and the compact. I posed the question to Senator Maziarz a few months back about the city share of the money not going directly into our general fund in the city. Although the state share of their money goes directly into the state's general fund, I asked him if he believed that the city share should go into the general fund. And he said no. But he still believed that the state's share should be able to go into their fund. So without putting you guys too much on the spot, how do you feel? I know we're going to be renegotiating and coming up with some new language, I guess, with the compact. How do you feel about the city allowing their portion of the casino funds going into the general fund?
Just to be brief on that, and thank you for the comments. It was it's every other entity that gets their money, it goes unrestricted, whether it be the school district, the hospital, NTCC, the airport, and of course New York State taking 75% of the share. It's unrestricted how they spend it, and we know how New York State spends money. Even Niagara County at one point had money and they were so egregious with the spending back in those days with this, that they used $250,000 of casino money to sue the power authority at the time. I mean,
Guys, not to interrupt. I'm going to hang up and let you listen. Okay, but
all right,
thanks
thank
for your
you.
time.
Thank you.
And that in fact is why at the time the money was pulled from Niagara County, getting the share they got. After that, it was used for every little festival around the county. Nothing towards real economic development. Certainly, and I believe Niagara Falls, Niagara County, even the school district should have an unrestricted share because they're losing the amount of acres of prime land downtown that they lost that should be used for the general fund. It's a touchy situation because because of the problems downtown has and the things that could be done with that money, you want to make sure that that's what it's done. So I understand why it was set up the way it is, but his criticisms of him are so disingenuous because of how the wasteful spending from the groups that he sent the money to as well.
Right. Aside from the criticism, I think if you look at the books, you'll see that there's been a great attempt in rebuilding the infrastructure in the city of Niagara Falls, and to me, if it wasn't restricted for that, we would find other ways of using it because, number one, we do have a good chunk. People don't know it, and the administration doesn't talk about it enough, but there's a good chunk of money that actually goes into the general fund, okay? The debt service is one of them. We used to pay that out of taxpayers' money. Now we pay it with casino money.
Capital projects.
Right, capital projects. Because what I keep telling people is, folks, the thing that people don't want to talk about, but it's going to hang us in about 5 to 10 years, is the wastewater plant. And that sooner or later, somebody's going to raise their hands up and it's going to say, I give up, and you're going to think about casino money to start rebuilding that infrastructure because not a dime is going in rebuilding the infrastructure for the water and sewer.
Yep.
Okay,
So we got to think smarter.
Just a comment on the callers. First of all, I want to thank you for that comment. Second of all, you're right. All the other senators that I can remember, Senator Daley, Senator Brown, Senator Maziarz, Senator Nula, Senator Thomas, never bashed the city. Always came in and promoted the city. And if the money did go to the general fund, well, then you can use that to offset taxes. All right, and we can't do that now. The only thing they're allowed to go to the general fund, Vincent, correct me if I'm wrong, is the interest. That's about it.
Right, the interest
Right.
plus what we did was the taxes that we lost within the 54 acres, that goes into the general fund.
Okay, all
And then we took the debt service from the column to where we were paying it from the general fund to where now it goes from casino money. That's millions of dollars. But again, I don't want to beat up on the administration too much, but some of the comments have been made just in the last few years about the use of casino money. Okay, sometimes I'm happy that we have restrictions on it because how else are we going to rebuild our streets or demolish these buildings because sooner or later you get so used to using it that you don't even think about it until the wastewater plant caves in or our streets start caving in. But
And keep in mind, as downtown continues to redevelop,
Right.
we're going to get to a point where these incentives aren't going to be needed because
Right.
businesses are going to want to be here doing business right now. Right now it's tough, but as this grows, that's the
And
point.
that's
These
the hope.
incentives phase out because people are going to be fighting over coming in.
See, when I was involved with the casino money, my feeling was it was the seed corn for the
Yes.
future. You eat your seed corn, you're going to starve to death next season. Caller, you're on.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
I'd just like to say I have never in my life heard so much crying as I did today. I mean, between Iguana and, I don't know, is it Dennis or Denise? I mean, my God.
It's Dennis, sir. Get your facts straight.
Calling names, and you spent the whole show attacking Maziarz.
Well, you know why? Can I tell you something, Del? It's because he comes on here and bashes all these people in Niagara Falls. Now, if someone came on the show and told a lie about you, wouldn't you be a little upset? Okay? And that's all I did. First thing I did was clear up the lie that he told. And the second thing we talked about was state issues, okay? Things that he could do to lower taxes in Niagara County.
Yes, but you were
Yeah.
talking about things that are state issues.
That's right. He doesn't talk about them, so we have to.
Don't they have anything to
Listen,
do with it at all?
that has a lot. The state issues have a lot to do with the county. All these issues are first of all, do you pay taxes? Do you pay county taxes? Well, then you should be upset. If you pay county taxes, you should be upset about everything that I just went down. And that our state representatives aren't doing anything about it. These are state mandates. They don't give us a choice whether we want these programs. Excuse me. They don't give us a choice. Excuse me. They don't give us a choice whether we want these programs or not. They shove them down our throat and they tell us to pay for them. Why isn't he doing something about it, Dale?
Who, Como?
No, I'm talking about Maziarz.
Yeah, see, that's all you want to talk about. There's bigger problems.
Well,
than
okay,
media.
okay. Most of these programs came in when Pataki was in, and there was a Republican governor and a Republican Senate. They controlled everything.
You
They
call
still
him
didn't do
a
anything.
Republican, but I don't call him a Republican. Pataki, look at what he did to this state.
That's right.
I just wish you wouldn't spend so much time crying and start talking about what you're going to do.
Yeah. Well, how come you don't say that when George Maziarz is on here, huh?
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you very much, caller.
Senator Maziarz.
Goodbye.
I appreciate the call. Thank you very much. We're going to go to our next caller, and you guys really lit up the phones. The back of the phone is starting to
Hey, you
smoke.
forgot to talk about the state-funded car George Maziarz gets, too. That's-
Oh, we will talk about that. Caller, you're on.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Morning.
First of all, Dennis and Jason, thank you for appearing on this show. And I have never met a harder-working legislator than Dennis Virtuoso.
Thank you.
I've seen him in action for over 20-some years. And he doesn't work just for the Democrats. He works for everybody, not just people in Niagara Falls, but everybody in the county. And George is jealous about it. Dennis gets things done. When he tries to work on something, he accomplishes it. George has only worked on things that's going to benefit him and his family. I mean, if you go look at the tree of life that he has created, and you'll see all of his friends, real close friends that contribute to him, and also his family and relatives.
Isn't that on the internet? I thought that was on the internet, all his family and friends' jobs.
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
Okay.
And Jason, it looks like you're following in Dennis's footsteps. We need more people like you, too. I don't care what party you are. I'm not a Democrat. I don't care what party you are. We need people in there that's going to work for the public, not worry about filling their pockets. I knew George from the day he first started his campaign going into the Senate. And I thought, boy, we're going to have a fantastic man here. He's going to work for the people. After 4 years of supporting him, boy, was I wrong. George is only out for things that are going to benefit George, not anybody else. You take a good look at our county. What's the prosperity in our county? We've lost jobs, we've lost businesses, and another thing, why wasn't George real upset when all those ballots fell off the truck coming into Lockport? They fell down by the canal. Nobody did anything about it. I went down to the elections board, asked Nancy Sharp about it. She said, there's no ballots missing. Well, they were missing. I know the man whose son picked a bag up, took it home to his father. The father ripped the bag open, and here it's ballots. It's voters' ballots. And so they took it to the Lockport police, where they should have probably taken it to the state police. Out west, one of the things happened. They called a new election. Why didn't George get all excited about that and call a new election here? Is it because it was fixed so that Mayor Tucker would get in? But you know what? I'm just going to say, people do not know George Maziarz for what he really is. He's not working to benefit us. If he was, we'd have the lowest electricity in the whole country. Our tax would be lower than any place else. So Dennis, for God's sake, don't give up working for the people, and Jason, you keep doing it too. We need more people like you, and I sure hope after these Republicans that's been in office for so long that they get out of there at the next time, because you know what? It's just dragging our county down more and more. These Republicans have hired people that we don't even know. We've got a man in there that takes pictures. I mean, that's all he was doing, $60,000.
No, he runs their election,
Look
too.
at what's actually happening in our county because of George Maziarz, and maybe they'll think and vote for somebody else. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you.
And caller, one of the things that you said, I'm new to this, and I learned from especially how Dennis, especially with the research he does, when he's talking about this stuff, it's facts, it's factual. This isn't attacks. It's factual. Now, I'm 39 years old. Like I said, I have a 3-year-old daughter, another child due to arrive shortly. I'm concerned about the city, and this is why I got involved. I didn't get involved for every 2 years to, the dirty politics that they play. I just because I want to see changes, and we're seeing changes in Niagara Falls. And Niagara Falls can and should be the catalyst for this entire county redeveloping. That's what I care about, and that's why I want to see more newer faces get involved. And I think that's what, like I said, she was saying, to keep up the work. That's what we're trying to do. This isn't about, and that's what bothers most about the attacks on Niagara Falls, is Niagara Falls should be the center of any development in Niagara County. And when you have a state official attacking it as much as they do, you don't see. We have a new Congressman, Brian Higgins. You don't ever see that. He's coming in, swinging away to make changes here for the better. That's what we need from our state as well.
Well, one of my hopes is that at some point, our congressman, our state senator, our state assemblyman, our legislators, and city council and the mayor can all be in the same room and have an honest discussion about the city of Niagara Falls, and certainly put down the swords. I know that the political swords are never going to be put down, but put down the swords and at least agree to that, Jason, because that's dear to my heart. I mean, I believe, I can honestly say I'm the biggest cheerleader for the city of Niagara Falls. Now, other people can take credit for being cheerleaders, that's fine, but I believe I'm the biggest cheerleader for the city of Niagara Falls. I don't care who's doing it. It bothers me on a personal level. I've defended Niagara Falls in other parts of the country. I've defended Niagara Falls with the good, bad, and the ugly, okay? But the thing is, we do have a lot of issues in this city, and there are people that are trying to make it right. There are people that they just don't know how to make it right, But the personal attacks, I wish that would just change, because
It's childish. It's very childish.
well,
Get on the show.
on all parties,
Yeah.
though. On all
I
parties.
know, but get on the show and talk about, like I'm talking county issues. Jason's talking county issues.
But that's what I would
let's
like.
do it,
I mean,
yeah.
it's certainly a show like this. It seems to be generating a lot more calls. But the fact is, I'd rather have some fewer calls with some real facts and transmitting facts back and forth. The caller, you're on.
Hello, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
You talk about corruption in the city of Lockport. You can't tell that to the people. I live in a town. I'm laughing because I know it's true. I've seen city of Lockport. Well, let's see. If your kid was arrested on drugs, would they be in jail?
Yeah.
How come a certain person that resigned wasn't? That's one thing. You talk about stuff from last year. There's still leaves in the street of city of Lockport that haven't been cleaned up since last fall. The ice storm that hit, you got tree branches all over. I feel sorry for the city of Lockport. Who wants to come and see dump?
Well, obviously, this situation in Lockport is a lot bigger than what we think, because for the mayor to resign that suddenly, there must be more to it.
Yeah, there's a lot more to it.
He says he has another job, but he hasn't started, has he? You see him working anywhere?
I understand he's supposed to be working with Modern.
Is he? Okay.
And that's a wheeling and dealing effect, too, that went through. That's why the people got stuck with the garbage cans.
And I'm not
That would be
looking to
quick pro quo, wouldn't it? I mean, didn't they just
It
sign
wasn't
a...
even voted on, from what I
Yeah,
understand.
but didn't they just
by the
sign a
people.
big garbage contract with them?
Yeah, they got a Modern garbage contract.
Yeah.
And I was just bringing up Lockport as the point of that if you're going to come on here and attack Niagara Falls, which is turning the corner right now, doesn't have near the issues Lockport has. Let's discuss. You want to talk about local municipalities? Talk about that.
Now, my friend's sister just passed away. She went to school at Maziarz, and one day I happened to say something, and she goes, Art, Maziarz is only for Maziarz. I go, what are you talking about? He goes, if it benefits Maziarz, he's for it. If it don't, screw it.
Okay.
So what benefited Maziarz in the last election? Valenda.
Mm-hmm.
That's why everybody voted for him. There were so many people on this radio station that hated him. I'm trying to figure out how he got back in office.
All right, thank you very much,
Thank you.
caller. Thank you. Well, look, we're up against the clock here. We just have 2 minutes left, and I just got to say it's been a great program from my perspective. I didn't have to do a lot of talking, which is I think people appreciate that, and because a lot of times I get into my little rants. But it started off with venting, and then it ended up with discussing that hopefully we can start talking about the county issues at some point. We're down to about a minute and a half, and one comment that was made about North Tonawanda and the girlfriends from North Tonawanda. Yes, and back in the 60s, trot boys used to go to North Tonawanda and steal the girlfriends. Yes, I can vouch to that.
And you never gave the phone number once during this program.
That's right, Dennis. And you're the one that reminded me, I don't say 297-1059 enough, and that we're on WJJL on the Vince Anello show. I just get so caught up in it that I just keep forgetting. And sometimes I even forget about the commercials, and I don't do them until the end of the show. But again, this is Vince Anello show, and thanks a lot, Dennis.
Yep.
Thanks a lot, Jason. I know you didn't get a lot to say. Maybe you'll have to come in by yourself if you want to talk. But
Next time I'm coming alone.
yeah, but I think it's been a great program. Thank you very much.